If you do not understand white supremacy, what it is, and how it works, everything else that you do understand will only confuse you. Minute by minute, day by day, second by second, all of the time. And those are the words from our late great ancestor, Neely Fuller Jr. May Ra be pleased with his soul and all the great work that he did writing the book, The United Compensatory Code System, and imparting on us decades upon decades of knowledge and wisdom on his understanding of this system of white supremacy, which is a religion that encompasses 9 areas of people activity: economic, education, entertainment, labor, law, politics, religion, sex, and war. If you want to find about that, go ahead and get his book. But what did you expect? You know, the ancestor Neely Fuller Jr. would say, if he was here, this is to be expected in the system of white supremacy. And I'm speaking about the young brother Karmelo Anthony. If I'm butchering his name, please forgive me if I'm butchering his name. Just how my accent is how I talk. Karmelo Anthony, the young brother that was a minor when this happened. He was a teenager, but he just got sentenced to 35 years. 35 years, man. Now, he filed an appeal the next day, but what did you expect with an all-white jury? What did you expect in this system of white supremacy? You see, it's okay for them to do it. It's okay for them to take the lives and claim self-defense and have a justice system that will support them, and not only that, have the backing of their own people to support them. We have numerous examples of that. When they create crowdfunding campaigns for these individuals that killed the person unjustifiably, and Rittenhouse, does that ring a bell? And these individuals are able to raise hundreds of thousands of dollars from the community of their peers. And meanwhile, black folks that are experiencing homelessness are experiencing real hard economic times can't even get $1 from the community. But as the elder Neely Fuller Jr. would say, it's because they on code. They have a code. And they are on code. And we have been off of code. We are not on code. And haven't been on code for a long, long time. Right? But yeah, what did you expect in this system? You know, it's unfortunate that has to happen to him. That's happening to him. But they're always going to get away with slaughtering us and claiming self-defense. And they're always going to have the backing of their dominant society to support them. There was an all-white juror. All-white juror that made this decision. You knew that they were going to do that. And then from what I hear, the father of the white boy, Metcalf, that got unalive in self-defense, he was seen taking pictures with the judge. So we not surprised, especially us foundational Black Americans, and we shouldn't be surprised. We knew that this was going to happen. We knew that this was going to be the outcome, going all the way back to young brother Trayvon Martin and Zimmerman. We knew, and Tamir Rice and Sandra Bland, I believe. It's so many cases where we already knew. Castillo, the brother Castillo. We knew that this was going to be the outcome. And as I wrap this video up, I can only think about a situation that happened with me and how I ended up being incarcerated for something that I didn't do, and there was no evidence, no proof other than the other person's word. That was it. And the other person happened to be a whitey person. And in their eyes, the judge's eyes, all their eyes, I was a young, big, black Negro buck. But long story short, I was a college student. And I had, at the time, over 3.0, like a 3.5 grade point average. And I was studying, I was serious. And I would read other material outside of my work, but I was serious, I was studying, I was studious. And one day I just happened to, go to the bookstore because I needed some snacks before I go back to go to study again for a few hours in the library. And I questioned why I was made to put my bag, why the clerk asked me to put my bag in the locker room, but they didn't ask the white woman to do it. But I didn't have full grasp, but I was kind of radical, right? I was reading my, Malcolm X. I was reading my, listening to Mr. Farrakhan. I was reading Black, Message to the Black Man, the Willie List. I was, reading that along while studying. So I had become radical, right? This is before, but I was in my early stages before I matured. I'm still on it, but I understand now and I'm more mature, but I questioned it, and that's all I did. And next thing you know, while I'm walking back to the library, I'm being tracked down by the campus police, thrown in handcuffs, locked up, and they're throwing all type of charges on me. Terrorist threats, all this stuff. Like they were having fun with it. They were just like picking charges. Had a book and they're like, oh, we'll throw this one on them. We'll throw this one on them. we'll throw this on, all right? And I didn't have no money, so when I went to jail, I didn't have no money for a lawyer, so I had to get a public pretender, and she might have been like an East Indian woman, or something like that. I know that she was non-white, but I just remember, and I kept fighting it. I was locked up for over 4 months fighting it because they wasn't trying to drop the charges, right? They wanted to railroad me. They wanted to get me in the system. And so I was fighting it. And I remember like the last court arrangement. I was going to court from jail all this time, right? And then I recall my last meeting with the public pretender, and she was like, "Listen, you need to take a plea deal because there's going to be an all white jury." This is what she said. I'm in the holding tank or whatever, the room where you're waiting before you go see the judge, right? And in the same room, there was a brother. I guess she had talked to him already. He was actually in prison, right? I'm in jail, but he in prison. And she was like, "Tell him, like basically convince me to just take a deal." And the brother like, "Man, you need to take a deal. They're going, you don't want to be in here." And he's right? So, but she said, "You need to take a deal because if you don't, that white jury gonna see a big black Negro and they're gonna give you a number of years. Even though I know you're probably innocent." She looked at the evidence and she said, "I know you're innocent, but they don't see that. They trying to get you in that system." So long story short, after listening to her, the brother, and then my uncle had came to visit me, he said, I took the deal. I got out immediately the same day. And it was a lesser charge, a misdemeanor trespassing charge that I got wiped off my record. But just imagine if I would have took it to trial. I would have had a felony, and I would have had served a bunch of years for something I didn't do or something that I was innocent of. And the same thing with the young brother Karmelo Anthony. I'm pretty sure his lawyers was trying to tell him, and seeing how it was an all-white jury, I think we should take some type of deal. Or maybe the deal wasn't good. But yeah, man, what do we expect? What do we expect in this system that we live in? I mean, I know we got to keep fighting. I know that us as foundational Black Americans, we have a long history of fighting and not just standing down or not fleeing. But seriously, man, I think a lot of us need to seriously consider what we can do abroad. I know I am. I know I have. And I have my passport, and I have the experience to do it. But that's all I had to say for this one. Make sure you guys like, share, and subscribe. It's your brother Jay International tapping back in once again. I'm out.